Hey everyone, it's Rob the Backyard Gardener, and it's time for an update on my peach trees grown from seed. So here's my peach tree grown from seed. It's now just over 21 months old. I sowed it from a seed on October 2nd, 2016. In the last video, this tree was starting to really come out and put on some foliage. And I'll tell you, I've taken a lot of foliage off. Let me go ahead and show you the pile here. You know, peaches are one of the types of fruit trees that you can actually summer prune. Nectarines and peaches and a lot of the stone fruits actually like a summer pruning. Summer pruning should be done sometime in July, mid-July to early August. We're a little bit early for mid-July, but the temperatures have been crazy. The demand for water has been high. So I went ahead and did a summer pruning. Let me tell you the benefits of summer pruning. Whenever you summer prune a peach or a nectarine or any stone fruit for that matter, what you're trying to do is, while the tree is still active, while it's still having vigorous growth, you prune it back. And the concept here is that it will then send off a lot of side shoots along these nodes. Like this one here, like that one there. You want it to send off side shoots because if you're gonna get a big harvest next year, you need as many flowering spurs as possible. And summer pruning of fruit trees, especially the stone fruit family, actually allows them to naturally go ahead and put some new fruiting spurs on. Because I want this peach tree to actually flower and fruit next year, I'm hoping that by doing a little summer pruning, it gets some fruiting spurs that end up flowering and fruiting next year. But it doesn't matter whether it's 2 years old or 5 years old. You should always, after a harvest especially, go ahead and do your summer pruning. Now, most peach trees will set flowers in early spring, and then they'll be harvested mid-July to early August, sometimes a little later in August, depending on your zone. But the concept is, once they've dropped all their fruit and you've harvested them, now they're ready for a summer pruning. Otherwise, what will happen is, you won't get as big of a harvest the following year. But be careful. If you heavily prune too much and remove a lot of the foliage, then you run the risk of having little to no harvest the next year. The idea is to take off about 30% of all the terminal buds. And I'll see if I have some terminal buds here. What you're looking for is an end that has smaller leaves, lighter green, and really it's done, it's not growing anymore. This is a terminal bud. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to take off 3 or 4 inches at least of it to promote side shoots, so this terminal bud becomes a flowering bud or flowering spurs off the sides. That way you ensure another set of flowers and a bigger harvest, or at least another harvest the following year. So this guy's 21 months old now. I'll give you another look at his trunk. I've done my best to keep his base free of any weeds. Like I've mentioned in previous videos, fruit trees get a lot of their nutrients from the top few inches of the soil, so you don't want them competing for nutrients with crabgrass and weeds and things of that nature. This peach tree is actually, like most peach trees, it's losing some of its early spring leaves, and that's typical in my heat in my zone here in North Texas, zone 8A. It gets so hot that all the unwanted foliage just gets dropped, which is also why it's a good idea to summer prune. That trunk, that root system is used to supporting about 30% more foliage than what's on here now. That's what's packed up or stacked up over there. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with the progress. I'm also making sure that I get rid of all of the internal growing branches. Anything that's growing in, I don't want. I want to keep it so that every single one of these 4 branches that I've selected will be able to house fruiting branches, and that we have an open canopy in the middle. You got to remember, it takes a long time for stone fruit to mature, and they need ample amount of water and sunlight. Both water and sunlight is what's needed to mature the fruit, and so that's why you want an open canopy in the middle. Anyway, this is not a how-to tutorial or like that. I just want to let you know, provide you an update on my 21-month-old peach tree. This was grown from seed from store-bought fruit. And like I said, it's always a good idea to summer prune it. And it's always a good idea, now that I've done that, to give it a light dose of fish fertilizer, a little bit of nitrogen, just to make sure A, we green it back up, and B, we promote some vigorous growth. If you summer prune too late, in my opinion. Like if I were to prune this in late September or early October, late fall, what'll happen is the plant will go dormant before it's put on some of the fruiting spurs, and that's the problem with summer pruning. If you do it too late, it's better to go ahead and wait until the springtime and then go ahead and do late winter or spring pruning. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a good look at my peach tree grown from seed. It's beautiful, and while I have you here, since you've seen this one now, I wanted to show you I'm still working on my other peach trees I've grown from seed that are in these pots, and they're doing well. We're continuing to give them water. They've already been hardened off, so they're used to the sunlight now. And these guys, I'm gonna keep them contained in these smaller pots. I won't be planting them in the soil until next year when I find a home for them. Well, there you have it, everyone. That's my peach tree grown from seed, now at 21 months. I wanted to get you guys an update. I'll plan on getting you an update again in another month. We'll take a look at the progress of some of the growth it puts on after this summer pruning. Hopefully you're enjoying the series. If you are, please give me a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching and happy gardening.